Do believe we shall overcome someday. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. We are not afraid today. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. That's our beginning today, and that's the thematics which we're going to be covering today during the course of this little talk. Let me just get my little cameraman. Cameraman, wherefore art thou cameraman?
Wasn't my singing great?
We're going to the bar. I'm not sure about that. No.
Did you get some for that?
Well, the key first thing to do is we need to go to the police and identify what exactly they're saying today. Have you spoken to them today?
Someone filming you?
Yeah, two. Have you spoken to them today?
Yeah.
What did they say? The blackfishing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Another guy with the yeah. At least Winter Wonderland. That's great, isn't it?
Well, I've got the domain name Winter Wonderland 2020, so I was thinking about inviting everybody to come to the park, because that's the only place we're allowed to go to is the park. Of course, you're not allowed to meet anyone you know, but nevertheless, you might meet strangers.
You're allowed to meet
Well,
one.
you could be one stranger, presumably one a day, or
I
check
see.
these things.
One at any one time.
What's happening? They're taking your freedom speech away.
No offers. Not bad. I've come down here with the intention of speaking. Is that legal?
First of all, you may not use.
I'm not using that.
form of amplification.
I'm not using that, I know that.
The problem with speaking is you will attract a crowd. We've got a crowd here now. You're all within 2 metres of one another. You need to separate.
So we
You need to separate away, please.
Okay, and then?
The problem is, as soon as we speak, you attract the crowd.
But if they all separate 2 metres, like I say,
You will attract the crowd. Look,
you stand 2 metres away, please.
Is it against the law to attract the crowd?
So you're saying,
Isn't it the crowd themselves?
are you saying that attracting the crowd is a specific component of the legislation?
I believe that if
Can you quote me that part of the legislation?
you speak, you will encourage the group.
Well, but I'm specifically encouraging. But if I specifically encourage them to distance at 2 metres or more, surely I'm actually serving public health.
I'm saying if I was to stand here and talk,
Serving public health by encouraging the group.
If I tell them to distance according to government regulations and face to face.
But unfortunately, as we see here,
2 metres apart, please.
this is the problem.
Well, that's your problem. That's not my problem. That's your problem. But there are people over there who are close to 2 metres as well.
In 25 years. These
Well, you
police
don't know
are
that, do you?
criminals. They're standing close to each other.
How,
They're breaking the law in our country.
Let's be quite clear about it. If you are saying that by me speaking, even if I asked everybody in the audience to be more than 2 metres
Can you move
apart,
2 metres apart, please?
2 metres apart,
Please,
please.
2
Look,
metres.
that's not me, that's him.
Why don't you go back to
definitely
Kent and get on with your job?
I definitely told him to do it. Well, the problem actually
You are a
is something
problem in your stupid... And look at your fat belly. You've got a heart attack coming,
Don't
officer.
be rude. Don't be rude.
Go back to Kent now.
Don't be rude.
And put
Don't
your
be-
feet up with your missus.
Don't be rude to him. Don't be rude to him. There's no point in being rude to him. Let's just clarify this, because this is affecting everyone in the country.
It's no longer about anti-lockdown or pro-lockdown. Now everyone in the country has had their Christmas ruined, including this gentleman here, right? So really we have to deal with it as each thing comes along. And this is so serious because never before in British history or in world history
You're now speaking. And
has Christmas been banned. Never before.
Cromwell did it. Yes, Oliver did it.
Officer, the question is, are you saying, hang on, officer, are you saying that I am currently being affected? If you are, please issue me with a penalty notice charge now. Please issue me. Can you keep 2 meters apart? No,
You police, you're closer than 2 meters. You should move away. You are breaking the law, officer, as I point my finger at you. My lawyer will condemn you in any court in this country.
Can you all move 2 meters apart from each other,
Any police standing law.
I don't want that at all, officer. And therefore I'm
These police are breaking the law. They're less than 2 meters apart. These police are criminals.
And that penalty notice should be issued by you now, having told me that you think I'm breaching the regulation. Please
stand 2 meters apart, officer. You're a criminal.
My offence.
In your blue mask, you're a criminal.
You
2 meters, please.
Please issue a penalty. I'm not undermining anything. You are undermining the integrity of the police by not issuing me.
You should be 2 meters apart. You're breaking the law in our country.
A penalty notice, please. Please issue a penalty notice to me.
Fascist.
Please issue me with a penalty notice.
Fascist.
Please issue me with a penalty notice. Please issue me with a paper penalty notice.
Why are you arresting him? Why are you arresting him? What are you doing? Excuse me. What the hell is he doing arresting him?
Right, I'm issuing a citizen's arrest. I'm issuing a citizen's arrest.
Issue a penalty notice now. And everybody else here, please request a penalty notice. You've all committed crimes, according to the police.
No one can touch this guy.
Issue a penalty notice to all the people here, please. Please issue a penalty notice to me and everybody else.
Yes, guys.
I demand you enforce the law. Please issue a penalty notice. Please, a penalty notice. Where's the penalty notice? Please issue a penalty notice. Name, Dr. Heiko Khoo. Address, Flat B, 37 Cambridge Gardens. W10 5UA. I repeat, Dr. Heiko Khoo, 37 Cambridge Gardens.
Leave the guy alone.
Please issue me with a penalty notice immediately.
This guy's right.
Why aren't you chasing criminals, officer? Is it because your brain is in that fat belly?
No way, man. Leave him alone.
Penalty notice.
Hey, leave him alone.
Penalty notice. Mentally ill patient. You've got no right. What has he got? No right.
Leave him alone, man. Come on, guys, man.
I serve the Queen. What has he done?
Leave him alone!
Nothing wrong.
Illegal arrest! Illegal arrest! Illegal arrest! Illegal arrest! Criminals! Criminals! Illegal arrest! Criminals!
Leave him alone.
Leave him alone!
I serve the Queen. I'm from Leicester. I have friends in Leicester.
I'm not arrested him.
You're not 2 meters apart now, are you?
What's this?
We shall overcome.
Yes.
We shall
What
overcome
ground are you
one day. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome.
Though cowards flee and traitors sneer.
We'll walk hand in
So what?
hand.
So what? I've got grey hair. I am called fancy today. So what?
Hand in hand today.
So what are you?
I do believe we shall
Are you ashamed of what you're doing? Stay back. I'm saying keep back. Thank you. Are you ashamed of what you're doing?
No, I ain't got any shame, mate.
So
You guys need to have a conscience.
I bet your mother will be really proud of you. No, I'll give it back. You're not interested in safety and fixing. You can't see what you're doing to them.
Sorry, brother.
I'm sorry, but you're not sorry at all.
I want the best team when you put in the Charing Cross.
Criminal actions by the police. Criminal actions by the police.
Make space, police officer, please. Get out of this man. You may have COVID as well.
The other side.
It's very COVID now. Officer, you may have COVID on this man.
Oh wait, Mr. X is over there. He's right there. Sorry.
Officer, you may have COVID on this man as well. Can you please get out of this? Where the clock?
What are you charging him with?
He has to commit no crime. Trample him.
Guys, aren't you going to shine? Please keep back. Thank you very much.
Above calling some of that van coming out. If we just ask you to go to the other side.
I'm trying to get back.
Yeah.
You don't need to push me.
I'm overwhelmed. I've got a van coming through. I've got
They corrupt other people. They speak of wickedness. Their talking is against the Most High. Watch his arms! Watch his arms! You can't do his arms like that! Can't do that! Bastard! What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Violent men! Just because of uniform! Violent! Come on now! Criminals! Really?
Criminals in uniform. Don't rob him. Look at the criminal rob him. Don't rob him. That's a robbery. Criminals in uniform. Rob us. That's a robbery.
No one can ill-treat anyone like the police here.
Mistreating the guy.
Needlessly pulling him in the way you do, sir.
Come on, man. We are ashamed. This is why we got no respect.
No respect for the citizens here.
How are you dealing with him?
Absolutely.
You're dealing with him. Like really, you've got to deal with him. He is in pain.
We shall overcome.
Good luck, man.
We are hurting him.
Not afraid.
Shame on you.
Shame on you.
Shame on you. Shame on you. Criminals.
Criminals.
Criminals in uniform.
Criminals.
Criminals in uniform. Shame on you.
We shall
Make up rules.
someday.
Why you drag the man?
We are not afraid.
You humiliated the man. Well, listen. That's more than COVID-19. You're proud of yourself.
We shall overcome.
Shame on
Shame on you.
Having no having no nothing.
That he's lost all the world. That there was no liberty. There was no religion. There was no politics.
I do believe
No philosophy.
we shall overcome someday. Truth will set us free. Truth will set us free. Truth will set us free one day. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall meet again someday. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. We are not afraid.
Well, it seems like police officer was insulted and he was run and it's worse here. Really worse.
What's Nick's name?
What did that man do?
What's Nick's full name?
I don't know.
Sorry. Regular speaker's corner, Nick. So here we have it again. Lies told about why we can't meet at Speaker's Corner. Told to socially distance. Then the police take action that causes a big crowd to assemble. This officer's trying to plot to have me arrested now. He's calling on special troops to suddenly appear and arrest me. That's what he's trying to do now. And I've cut myself because of them. See? This is how they behave. They make people run away for no reason. The simple truth about Christmas is easy to find. You'll find it here. This is where you'll find the truth about what's happening this Christmas. This is where you'll find it. honestpolicies.com, santarebellion.com. Go there. All you need to know about what's happening today is there, clear and concise, from scientists, experts and international critics of the insanity taking place today. They are destroying our lives. They said, Boris Johnson said yesterday, that if you don't see your granny this year, you can see her next year. But he seems to forget that every year 650,000 people die. Maybe 350,000 people who can't see their mother or grandmother this Christmas may never see them again. Never again. This is barbarism. Barbarism. Based on insanity. And I tell you why they're doing it. Because not enough people have volunteered to take the vaccine. And the government and their friends have all got shares and interest in the vaccine companies. They want to poison you. And are they going to measure after someone takes the vaccine? Are they going to measure when they die after the vaccine? 28 days? 6 months? 1 year? 2 years? Are they going to count them as vaccine deaths like they count people who die after a positive PCR test as a COVID death? No, they are not. It is all lies from beginning to end, ladies and gentlemen. And you can find the proof of this here. Visit the website, share it with your friends, report yourself to the police. Anyone who's been here, report yourself to the police. Then we can all be witnesses to what happened to Nick earlier on. Report that you were here in Hyde Park. The page is on here where you can register and report a crime. The crime you should commit is that you came to Hyde Park illegally with the intention of attending a meeting. Declare that, or that you came to the park and you stood within a metre of a stranger. Declare that and make them issue PCR, make them issue
penalty notice charges is. Then you challenge it and go to court. And we will clog up the British courts with thousands or millions of cases. That's what we need to do, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a little suspicious that the police are going to come for me next. Yeah? I'm a little suspicious that they're preparing that. So I think I should move over to the corner over there so that when they come in with a new van, they won't get a grab straight away.
Yes, right.
I just think it's very safer by the door there, just in case it's something storming. Oh, he looks alright, actually. So a couple of minutes ago, the police told me that I'm committing some crime by being here.
Yeah, you're a Marxist.
And yet,
Get the fuck out.
and yet, now there's someone speaking over there, and they're having no word with him. That's how you win. You see, that's how you win the right. That's how we win the right to speak. By pushing the issue, then they discover they can't do anything. Why are you not arresting that man? When a few minutes ago you said you couldn't do this. Now here we are speaking. So what are you talking about?
It's hell. It's dystopia. That's John Lennon's world.
Nonsense!
I'm not going to do anything. God will do it. God will speak.
I think they're planning to get you. I think they're planning.
You heard him. You heard him.
They've been talking and they've been looking at you.
As I understand it, the police are planning to arrest me. Having claimed that it was illegal to speak, they're allowing him to speak, but they're plotting to arrest me.
Man chose Satan. Man chose lies. Man chose independence from God. They conjured up their own.
Why are you not arresting that man? As you said you're going to arrest me.
Their own worldview. They created evolution. And they told us it's fact. It's the theory of evolution. They created the Big Bang and said it's a fact. It's the Big Bang theory. It's never proven. Nobody was there 4.5 billion years ago.
Where's that Obi? Where's that Obi? Send my Obi. I the fucking side of the
We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall meet again. We shall overcome one day. Meet again. They twisted my mind as well.
Thank you. That is Captain the burden of carrying.
So here we had the madness once again. Speaker's Corner attacked by insane ideas imposed by an insane government under the control of big pharma and big tech companies.
Their buddies have taken control of the economic resources of this country through special laws connected to the coronavirus legislation that allowed the government to steal £400 billion from your taxes and your children's taxes. And this money has been allocated to friends and associates of the government ministers in charge, as well as some of the members of SAGE and chief scientific advisors in the government. They have deemed it necessary because the population was not sufficiently demanding to be injected with a brand new dangerous vaccine in which the people are guinea pigs. Because not enough people had registered to have the vaccine, the government decided to spread more fear, and the greatest fear they can do is to try and spread the idea that you are going to kill your mother or your grandmother if you go home for Christmas. This is insanity. Only people who are symptomatic can transmit a respiratory illness. You will know if you are ill. There are no studies, well, there is one study in the entire world that says you can transmit asymptomatically. That was a Chinese study, and it showed that those who get an infection from an asymptomatic source themselves remain asymptomatic. So it's far better than a vaccine to get an asymptomatic transmission. A vaccine does not provide you with immunity against the virus. Now, at least we've done this. By coming into the park just now, we've managed to get someone able to get up and speak. Not myself, unfortunately, but at least there's someone getting up and speaking. And the police have not done anything against that person. Therefore, either the police officer who stated to me earlier on that I was committing offence by gathering a crowd, and I asked him to issue a penalty notice for breaking that offence. But he refused to do so, yet nevertheless tried to arrest me. Now there is a speaker over there speaking, the same police officers who told me it was an offence for me to speak. I would be breaking the law. Those same police officers are now ignoring a meeting right in front of them that is breaking exactly the same rules as they claimed I would be breaking if I made a speech. I did not make a speech. Well, they haven't gone up and warned him. The job of the police, according to coronavirus legislation, is to engage 4 times in advance of arresting someone. They have not engaged that speaker standing on the platform over there at all, and he's been speaking for 15 minutes. Yet they were at the same time discussing arresting me. And I wasn't speaking, I was merely discussing with the police about whether I was allowed to speak. And I said to them, if it is a crime for me to intend to speak, or if it's a crime what I'm doing now, please issue a fixed penalty notice so I can challenge it in court. That's what we need. Millions of people in this country. Stop lying. Every single one of you has broken the rules. Stop lying. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell the police. Go onto the website. Go onto the website. Honest policy. Honesty is the best policy. Honestpolicies.com. On there is a link to the police themselves where you can report a crime. Report the crimes you've committed. If you visit your grandmother with more than one person, report that as a crime. If you leave the Tier 4 area, report yourself for the crime. If you hold someone or hug someone, report that as a crime. If you meet anyone in breach of the coronavirus legislation, report that as a crime. Report everything as a crime. Clog up the courts, occupy the police, make them do work for us. And if they're going to think they can get money for it, then they can have 1 million people all paying £100 fine. But we will challenge all these cases in court. We will assist you with the court proceedings. Lord Sumption said, we need brave people to stand up. stand up and do what's necessary. And what's necessary in this case is a tiny little thing. Go onto the website, honestpolicies.com, or easier to remember, santarebellion.com, and on there report the crimes you've committed. Be honest with your friends, be honest with your family, be honest with your mother, be honest with your grandmother when you visit them at Christmas. If you've met someone in the last few days where you might have caught a virus, any virus, say so to your mother. We are adults. We are human beings in what's supposed to be a democracy, which means we should be able to make decisions ourselves about our actions as they affect our family, our friends, our children, our loved ones. Every mother understands that they have a responsibility to look after their children. Every child understands they have a responsibility to look after their parents when they are old or infirm. The government, I don't need Boris Johnson telling me not to make my mother or grandmother ill. I want the people themselves to make, as adults in a democracy, informed choices based on facts, evidence and truth. And everybody knows, even the most ardent supporter of this government knows, all we have had from March onward is lies, lies and lies. Enough! Let's bring an end to this. Register with the police as having committed a crime. Break the government regulations.
But if people do this and they get a fine, they will not get a criminal record.
The fine you get for a PCN for a breach of coronavirus laws is a civil offence. It's not a criminal offence. On the 28th, I was arrested by the police 3 times. There in Park Lane, I was dragged to the floor without any engagement with the police beforehand. They said, "Corona!" And I said, "What?" And then they dragged me to the floor, handcuffed me, encircled me with 20 police officers and stuck me in a police van. They took me to Charles Street. In Charles Street they said, "We're de-arresting you, you'll get a penalty notice." But they never issue the penalty notice. So what they do is like what the Chilean dictatorship used to do, or the South African dictatorship used to do. That is, grab people off the streets, detain them illegally, and then when they fancy, they release you. I then said, "I want you to prove that I was arrested. I want a penalty notice." They refused to give one. I said, "I'm not leaving here till you give me a penalty notice." Then the officer behind the desk said, "Okay, arrest him again." So they arrested me a second time. The officer said, "What are we charging him with?" He said, "Having a megaphone." Even in North Korea, having a megaphone is not a criminal or civil offence. Then they took me to Wandsworth Police Station. At Wandsworth Police Station, the desk officer said, "Why is he here?" The arresting officer said, "Because he committed an offence against Corona legislation." The desk officer said, "You cannot detain him for that. You cannot detain him for that." Then he de-arrested me. Second time I was de-arrested. Then he said, "Search him again." So they searched me again. Then they found 1.5 medical tablets. I told them what the medical tablets are. They then said, "Arrest him under suspicion of having a controlled substance." That is an illegal arrest, by the way. You have to have suspicion before you search. You can't search and then have suspicion on the basis of something you find on somebody. Anything could be claimed to be a controlled substance. Then they did a test on the substance. Illegal as well. You cannot test a substance unless, in a police station, unless the person has admitted what they think that controlled drug is. It has to be, I have to say, that's amphetamine, and they test and see, is it or is it not. So that was also illegal. They have to send it to forensic laboratory in order to check whether it is a controlled substance. You see the police officers wandering over here now. So no doubt some are coming from behind somewhere. And there's another van over there, don't forget.
Are you a masochist, Heiko?
Well, sometimes. I mean, I like sexual activity. Right. I don't think you know, when you have, if any of you have ever had a sexual relationship with a partner or someone, where you engage in sadomasochistic activity, you know, like 50 Shades of Grey stuff and that sort of thing, right? There's something called consent. Consent means you say, if someone you are having sex with, for example, handcuffs you, and it hurts, you have a word you say, maybe red or green or orange, and that means lay off, don't hurt me anymore. But the police are not familiar with that. They really should go to some BDSM club and learn how to behave properly when you're engaging in this sort of play.
Why are you speaking here as opposed to...
Because the police drove me out the park earlier on. Have you got that PCN? Have you got that PCN for me? So you're waiting for the arresting officers to come and go and drag me away. Officer, I'm speaking to you. Officer, I want to report a crime. Officer, I want to report a crime. I have committed a crime, officer. I went into the park there and spoke. Your senior officer said it was a crime. Are you waiting for the van to come, are you? But first, surely you want to warn me that I've committed a crime. You don't need to do that, because I'm admitting it. Please issue a PCN notice to the officer. Officer, why won't you issue me a PCN notice for the offence I committed over there?
Officer, he's just admitted the
I'm
crime.
asking you to arrest
Why are
me.
you not giving him
I'm going to take your number down, and then I can report to the police that you refuse to arrest me for committing a crime. Can you get his number, please? Get his number, please, so I can report to the police. And your name? And your name? What is your name? What is your name? What is your rank? Stand to attention!
You do a good German accent.
I do a very good German accent because I'm half German. Although that wasn't particularly good.
Don't pick on the black officer.
Right, it's time, like all things, to come to an end. And the way to come to an end is with a beautiful song that I will wander around London, encouraging everybody, in every house, in every building, in every street, to join in. Don't sing. Eric, you can start. Yeah, you join in there, for God's sake. It's a choral song. Come and join it. Come and join it. We shall overcome.
Joining in. Doesn't that mean only the gathering of people?
Join in.
Is this is this 1963?
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in
You know anything by Poison?
I do believe we shall overcome.
I'm surprised.
I think that's enough.
That's the most boring song I've ever heard, honestly.
It's fantastic. Time to go home.
Heiko, what would happen if you went over there now? Would you get arrested?
I heard
There is a speaker there now.
I heard the rest, but they told when I went up to him and said,
Yeah.
he said, no, you got to
Yeah.
Then he said, no. And so I said, is that okay for them to you?
Yeah.
Then he said, you go in a crowd. Then I said, yeah, is that an offence then? If that's an offence, I'm going to commit that offence, please issue me with a penalty notice.
Right.
There's no need to arrest me, just issue me a penalty notice.
Yeah.
Because then I can challenge it. And then he said, you gather in a crowd, you gather in a crowd. And then he basically threatened to arrest me. Then he arrested Nick instead. He tried to run after me.
What was Nick doing?
Nick was
swore because he was
Nick was getting angry.
Yeah.
Nick was getting angry.
Oh, and it's Danny. Hello, Danny.
He was getting angry.
I didn't recognise it. This man is an institution.
We're all
should be in an
institutions.
institution.
Yeah, exactly.
I love your videos.
Well, we are all.
I don't mean to be rude. I prefer Danny to you. How's it going, Danny? Are you also Danny?
We don't know what's going on. They don't know. Nobody knows.
I give you £10.
I personally think but the thing is, I can never be bothered to organise it. I personally think if someone was able to organise it, I think what we should do is go and speak all over the high street. You get one set up a thing in the high street, just speak there outside the queue.
Go around the cars, they do have make a recording of what you've got to say.
Make
Put
some
it in their
leaflets,
telephone, drive
around.
Everybody in every house will hear it over Christmas. They'll all be at home. Let's get the message out to people. Just spread the message and make it
the
viral.
police could justify arresting you by saying we're only enforcing the law.
Well, they're not enforcing the law. They're arbitrarily.
Well, the new law, the new
they're
COVID
making
law,
it up as they go along. And they're all going to break the laws themselves. Do you think any of those police are going to obey or not
the
obey
whole
it?
thing, right? It's fine. And if they tell what I've learned the whole time, if they tell me to move somewhere else,
I agree, that's what you have to do.
You know, you two could be related because you're both as rebellious as each other.
Yes, I would say. We did the Extinction Rebellion. It's anti-rebellion. Anti-rebellion.
Okay.
I'll post your links on there as well, right? Open platform. I've got plenty more secret ones coming up.
Tell me something, Heiko. Why are they ignoring that one street in there? I do see that there's quite a lot of police activity. They're running around and talking. But are they,
from the entire dynamic of the protest movement, throughout the whole period of the last 6 months, it's quite clear that the target's He has always been targeted. He's now banned from entering Westminster. It's insanity. And they targeted me on the Marble Arch. He didn't come up and ask me. They just arrested me.
So if you're a religious speaker, you're considered harmless.
They arrested me before
Is that basically what you're saying?
I think so. Very interesting this point. Sorry, go ahead.
the thing is obviously the power thing, right? If someone's speaking about Jesus, then there's not really a threat. If someone's against
They are now, though.
well,
Yeah. Jesus' birthday is now forbidden. That's what they're saying. Jesus' birthday is forbidden. That's what they're saying. And I ask all Christians in the world who watch this to rise up against this. It's the destruction of your own religion. That's what it is. They're trying to replace your religion with fake science. Fake science. That's what it is. It's not even no scientific fact behind what they're saying. The only thing there is a PCR test that has been shown to be fraudulent. The original maker of that PCR test committed fraud by claiming it was a peer-reviewed test. It was never peer-reviewed.
I'm just wondering if you've heard the latest news, Heiko. I was listening to. Sorry, I just heard it on the way here on LBC that Charles Walker, Charles Walker, the Victorian,
He's been arrested.
No. He's demanded that Matt Hancock resign.
Quite right.
I don't know if you know this information.
But all the government should resign.
But what it is to do with apparently they all knew in government that they were intending to close down at Christmas time. They all knew it, but they decided to let everybody know much later on. That's right. And Charles Walker.
How can you announce a decision?
Charles Walker is the same
Christmas at a press conference.
MP
At a press conference.
who was shouting at the police outside Parliament for arresting a 78-year-old. So he's actually quite
He's a good man.
He's obviously
a decent man.
guy.
And there's very few of them in Parliament. And sadly, that's the case both in the Labour Party, the Tory Party, the SNP, all of them. They must all be sacked. Every one of them.
Even more so in the Labour Party. Not one of them. Not one. At least the Tories, you've got 35.
It's a joke. The whole thing is a joke. But it's not just here. This is the scary thing. It's a global, international, well, in the Western world, global, international plan by big pharma companies, by big tech companies, taking advantage of the crisis to seize control of the dynamics of the entire economy and of government resources. That's what's happened. Once they began the course of giving these people hundreds of billions of pounds, it became an unstoppable train shooting down a hill. You cannot stop that train unless you derail it. And that's what we have to do. Derail the train, undermine their system, break the legal system by demanding the arrest all of us or charge all of us with PCN offences.
I think to be honest with you, Heiko, people are just so subdued now, so run down.
You see,
that
why were they scared of Christmas?
More and more compliant.
If people would have met at Christmas, the numbers of hospitalisations and deaths would not have gone up. That would have proven the lie. If people meet on New Year's Eve, as they will, that will also prove the lie. Ask the police, where's the disease? Ask the police. Where's the disease? Ask the police. Because no serving police officers have died of the virus. None.
I thought you said one.
No, he was a retired police officer. Out of 140,000, 451. None of them have died. What does that tell you? They never socially distanced. That created herd immunity amongst them, probably by the middle of March. And since that time, they're pretending to wear masks. They're pretending to abide by rules.
Heiko, what about this new strain?
There is no new strain.
Okay,
all viruses change.
Yeah.
Viruses mutate and they become weaker because if a virus kills the host, it destroys its mechanism for survival. If a virus survives in a host, it continues its existence. The purpose of a virus's existence is to survive and spread. That's why viruses mutate and become weaker and weaker. This virus, the mutant virus they're talking about, almost certainly was spread amongst school children. And none of them came down ill. And therefore, let's have the evidence from the people who die now. Let's have autopsies of their bodies. Let's see what they really died of, not what you're saying they died of. Let's check if they really had COVID. And let's check if this so-called new mutant strain causes any extra illness or any extra death. I guarantee you it does not.
They knew about this new strain in
November.
September.
Well, there you go.
And they saved it for a week before Christmas.
Of course, it's a Christmas present.
It's
so that the Queen on television on Christmas Day can get an injection in her arm and appeal to you all. Take the injection. Take the injection. Take the injection. Because the shares of Patrick Vallance and the shares of the government ministers, their friends, their family and their cronies will all go up if the vaccine price goes up. It's the biggest scam in history and it's the most barbarous treatment of the people in history. I appeal to people, don't forget the Muslims. They shut down on Eid in Manchester and Preston and so on. Now at Christmas time, they're shutting down our only chance for many to see our mother or grandmother ever again. This is barbarism. It's inhuman. It's immoral. And the people responsible must be brought down. Thanks very much, ladies and gentlemen. That's enough today.
Another Sunday without getting arrested. Well done.
Only just. Luckily, Nick saved me by giving him someone else to arrest. But I don't know how to uncuff myself anymore.
Heiko, but I think that you're also not speaking about some of the positives. For example, I haven't seen my father-in-law for 6 months. Yes, great. You're out of the house all the time.
Enough, Mr. Surrealist.
Not my father-in-law.
Let's coordinate.
Thanks. So that's it today. I hope that was enough. Do we need anything else? Any questions?
Is that
No questions. It's all working fine.
volume?
Audio. Yeah, it's fine.
It's all